My name is Luciano Calestini. I'm the emergency officer for UNICEF Iraq based in Baghdad.
And what need is UNICEF Iraq fulfilling? What is your kind of mandate there?
I mean, our mandate in Iraq is as it is in any other country, which is to ensure that the rights of all children everywhere are protected. In Iraq, what that means, obviously, is that the last 6 years have been very difficult for children, and we've had to use maximum creativity to make sure that we are able to support the government of Iraq to fulfill its obligations to its 15 million children.
Could you tell us a little bit about some of the specific projects you're working on?
Sure. I mean, my role is the emergency officer in Iraq, and what that means is that UNICEF globally has a set of commitments that it has signed up for, that any child in crisis will be entitled to receive certain rights and services. And we call them the CCCs, the Core Commitments for Children. And my job as the emergency officer is to make sure that UNICEF Iraq ensures that those commitments to Iraq's children who are caught in crisis are met. And they can be sometimes very simple things like clean water, or they can be very complex things like protection from abuse and exploitation, and everything in between. So I work very closely with all of the technical colleagues, for example, the Chief of Education, the Chief of Water and Sanitation, the Chief of Health, to make sure that as best we can, we are meeting those obligations that we have set for ourselves in favor of Iraq's children.
Being here in the Mobile Active event, or the Mobile Innovation event, is there any use of ICTs in your work that you're doing now?
Absolutely. I mean, we struggle a huge amount with data collection. Iraq, as you know, is a very insecure country, now less so than before. But it was a very dangerous place to ask questions and travel around, even for our own Iraqi staff. So if there are solutions that enable data and information to be collected from our clients, from the children of Iraq, and for that to be translated into action, which benefits them, then we welcome it.
And you mentioned it a little bit, but what challenges do you face that kind of mobile technology might be able to help overcome?
I mean, there are huge access issues in Iraq. So forgetting the fact that we as an organization struggle to collect data, and many other organizations and institutions also struggle to collect data. The last 6 years, but also the 10 or 20 years before that, remembering that there was a sanctions regime and an initial first Gulf War in 1991, that has a whole group of impacts have accumulated on children over that time. And a huge one of those is access to information and obviously education. So we hope that one of the key outcomes of such an initiative to use mobile technology and other forms of ICT to collect and disseminate data is that it will help fill a gap that exists in children, but also in those who have a duty to care for children.
And then, so just one last question is, what do you need to continue your work or expand it? What kind of, whether it be resources or skill sets or tools or money?
It's all of the above. It's all of the above. Iraq, I would say, which is something that's very positive, is a middle-income country. It's not a cash-poor government. So it's not a context in which we have to invest high levels of our own fiscal resources. That's not Iraq. Iraq is a country that has suffered extensively and has a serious human capacity issue. And for us, obviously, the focus of that human capacity is on its children. And we have, as I mentioned, 15 million children in the country. Many of them have never been to school. I would estimate less than 1 in 5 will successfully finish high school, if that. Yet, with that human capacity gap of Iraq's children and young people, they still have an expectation that they will be the doctors and lawyers and teachers and mothers and fathers of tomorrow. But if they don't have the skills to do that, it's not a realistic expectation. And they are the ones who will carry this country forward. It's not me or you or the United Nations or anyone. It is these 15 million children. There's no alternative. So whatever means we can use to fill that knowledge gap and that human capacity gap, then we will welcome it. And for us, this is one of those initiatives that can support it.
Right. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.